Welcome to the SMBAdvertising podcast. My name is Mike Damnjanovic and I'm the host of this really special podcast, which is focusing on advertising and marketing. So today we've got a really exciting episode, something that I think is particularly interesting, given that we've just been going and are going through this pandemic. And with me in the studio, we have Carl Wilhelm Vedvik. Welcome back.
Pleased to be here today.
Great to have you back in the studio. And Carl, so today's digital landscape is highly competitive. And as we heard on previous episodes now, more so because of the pandemic, more people are online. But what strategy do you recommend for small and medium-sized businesses to implement today to outcompete their competitors and increase their ROI?
Very good question. SMBs, they have limited budgets and the market is also competitive. So it's extra hard to kind of stand out and get the right traffic and attention. We've done some research lately that we have been implementing. And the strategy I would try to implement these days is something called force multiplication. Force multiplication is a term coined by the military strategist Carl von Clausewitz.
Not Carl Wilhelm?
Not Carl Wilhelm. He's from the 17th and 18th century. And he said that if you have infantry and navy, in other words, you're fighting on two battle fronts, but your competitor have infantry, navy, special forces, and air force. Suddenly, your competitor don't have 4-1 advantage over you. He got like 4x4. So it's exponential advantage. You could call it leverage, also, because the number of forces you use will make it a lot more effective on the battlefront. And that applies 100% to advertising too, because we are fighting for attention. And it's not enough to only spend your money on Google, for instance. You need to have a mix of Google search, Google display, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Maybe you should put Snapchat into the mix too. And then try to divide your budget as good as possible across these channels. Because then you will more easily get attention and you will stand out because you're everywhere. When your customers go to Google, you're there. And when they go to Facebook, you're there too.
And I guess it doesn't just mean that, your competitors are pushing out ads on every single channel, so therefore you need to be pushing out ads on every single channel, but it's also about your positioning, perhaps the amount of budget that you're putting on the different channels, your messaging, the way that you're communicating with your customers. And then just to sort of take your example there with the force multiplication, here if you go onto Google and just simply Google that, it says a factor such as better positioning or equipment will increase a unit's combat potential, allowing it to fight on par with a larger force. So when we bring this into advertising, you have bigger companies that have a huge budget. You can't try to compete on the budget level.
No.
But in terms of positioning on channels, in terms of your messaging and the creatives that you're using, then actually suddenly you start to even out the playing field.
Exactly. That's well summarized. And what you're saying there, if you also use remarketing, then you suddenly also are on many different channels. And with remarketing, you're able to saturate even a tiny market very quickly. Because with remarketing, you're basically retargeting the same people that already know about you because of the money you spent on standard or regular ads to reach new audiences. Then you use remarketing to follow them up until they convert. So that's something you should put into the mix, is remarketing ads.
So there we have it, a strategy that you as a small or medium-sized business that doesn't necessarily have the largest of advertising budgets, a strategy that you can implement today is the force multiplication, which is giving you a level playing field with your competitors. Try to be out there on different channels, try different messaging, try different creatives, and then also ensure that you're using remarketing.
Yeah. So allocate your budget, even if the budget is not that big, allocate it on different channels.
Perfect.
Not put all eggs in one basket.
Exactly, yes. Be where your customers are on the different channels.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Carl Wilhelm.
Thank you very much.
That's Carl Wilhelm's top tip for strategy to implement today to outcompete your competitors and increase your ROI. See you next time.